How do you think OTAs and minicamp went for the Cleveland Browns? I think it went pretty well. Very well, actually. Um, no injuries, no controversies, um, no problems, no real issues coming out of OTAs and minicamp. And I think the main reason for optimism is actually the quarterback room, which not a lot of people would have said a couple months ago. Not a lot of people would have said that coming out of the draft for sure. Um, but yeah, this past week, these past couple weeks, um, at least the practices that the media got to see, um, it's been going well. It's been going really well for three out of the four quarterbacks. There's one that we'll get to that I don't think really performed that well and I don't have a lot of faith in. But there's three quarterbacks that I do have varying levels of optimism for in the quarterback room. We know who I have the most optimism for. Um, but that's not what that video is for today, really. Um, really, I want to talk about just how how these quarterbacks pretty much they showed up, they put their work in, and they did what they needed to do and they did what they were supposed to do. Um, Joe Flacco, let's start with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco showed up. He's 40 years old. He's been in the NFL a long time. Joe Flacco was drafted before Obama was in office. And you can fact check that. I looked that up. It's very true. He was drafted in 2008 in April, and we know President Obama took office, well, got elected in November, took office in January. So that's how old Joe Flacco is. He was a rookie when he was a rookie before Obama was in office. Um, but obviously a lot of football under his belt, Super Bowl champion, the consummate professional in this quarterback room. Um, and they've treated him like that, and the amount of reps that he's gotten with the media present has shown that. Um, if you talk about if you talk about OTAs, you talk about minicamp, this is a time for installation, learning the playbook, um, just getting out there, showing that you know the plays, not necessarily really making the plays, or it's more so make sure you know your assignments, make sure you know the plays, make sure you know what you're supposed to be doing. Um, that's really the goal of the OTAs. Um, like I've said in previous videos, those were overreaction videos. Um, and I'm excited about Shador, but just the quarterback room as a whole, um, nobody was going to win or lose the job to be the starting quarterback in June. It's just not going to happen. That's just not how football works. So it's not like that job isn't going to be won until people put pads on. So when you come out and you look for is are they lost? Are they do they look like they know what they're doing, and do they actually know what they're doing? And I think all four of these quarterbacks came out and they did prove that they know what they're doing. To varying degrees, varying levels, but they all are competent. Now, Joe Flacco got got however many less reps than the other three because he's proven he's 40 years old. He doesn't need the reps in June. He needs to save his arm. His arm only has a finite amount of throws left, and they need to be saved for the regular season. because really, I think he is going to be your week one starter. I find it hard to believe with this coaching staff and how it's going to be set up with four quarterbacks trying to get reps. I find it really hard to believe that somebody other than Joe Flacco is going to take be under center for week one for the Browns. Um, so Joe's good. Joe's good. Doesn't really need the reps. Um, let's go to Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel, third round pick. People thought it was an overdraft, thought it was a reach. Um, but by all accounts, when he's gotten his reps, when he's gotten in there, was able to do uh was able to do what he needed to do. Like he didn't look overwhelmed. Um, and I think did an adequate job of leading the offense when he was in there. Do I believe in him as a starting quarterback in the NFL? Not yet necessarily. Um, but he hasn't proved that he shouldn't be. Um, and if you're thinking like, oh, there's no quarterbacks in the NFL that would like come out and struggle during OTAs. Um, if you think that's the case, go find a Giants fan and ask them how they feel about Jackson Dart right now. So struggles can be had in OTA. So if you wanted to know, ask the Giant fans about Jackson Dart. So it's good that Dylan Gabriel looks fine, looks okay. Um, Kenny Pickett, just flat out, I'm never going to believe in Kenny Pickett. Um, and I might end up being proved wrong, but I don't think I will be. I'm not. I'm not ever going to believe in Kenny Pickett as a starting quarterback in this league. Not until he really goes out and proves me wrong. Uh, the the reps he's gotten, yes, he's thrown touchdowns. He's had a couple of good passes. I like there's one in particularly through to Jerry Judy that was very impressive, but I I will not believe I will not believe until I see it for myself on the NFL field for more than I can't even give a number how many weeks, but it has to be very consistent. He's gonna have to really show me something. And to be completely honest, I don't think he'll get that chance in Cleveland or anywhere else. I just don't think he's good, and I don't believe in him, and I don't want it to happen. Frankly, I wish he wasn't here. But set that aside. He's he hasn't done anything to get run out of town yet. Um, but I don't think he's been overly impressive either. And last but not least, Shador Sanders. Um, let me bring this up real quick, and you'll see the numbers. He's across OTAs and minicamp. He's been 41 out of 53, 9 touchdowns. That 9 touchdowns is the most out of all the quarterbacks, and that completion percentage is 77%. Um, that's 17 points higher than Joe Flacco, 20 points higher than Dylan Gabriel, and 26% higher than Joe Flacco. Um, I don't have anything to back this up, but I feel like Joe Flacco was probably just throwing it deep the whole time. So 18 out of 35 is probably fine. I know what Joe Flacco is. I know how he gets down. I really don't have an issue with that. But the numbers for Shador are what they are. Now, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna take a victory lap for anything football related in regards to Shador at OTAs and minicamp because there was really nothing for him to win at OTAs and minicamp. He was never going to be named the starter. That was never going to happen. Um, but what I will do, I will take a victory lap for things off the field because there were concerns by every everybody about what would happen off the field. Um, People thought that there was going to be like if he's not getting all the reps or he's going to be a backup, there was going to be like Deion Sanders was going to step in. No word from Deion or Shador himself was going to have a bad attitude. I would argue that is the complete opposite of being true. Not only does he not have a bad attitude, he has a great attitude and feels like one of the guys in the locker room that other players are looking to for like they're looking up like not looking up to, but he's like almost becoming a leader in a sense. Um and that especially goes for the rookies. I'm not gonna say he's gonna be leading the vets because he's a fifth round pick, fourth string quarterback right now. But as far as the rookies go, he's definitely been that guy, been the leader of this rookie class. And that's without a doubt. Like I feel like that's not even debatable from everything that we've seen at this point. And and people also thought if he didn't get the starting job handed to him, that he would be upset, that he wouldn't work hard for it, that he would expect everything to be handed to him because everything has been handed to him his whole life. Um, which I mean, if you really think about it, he's played quarterback probably his whole life. Um, if he's made it to this point to be in an NFL training camp, don't you think wherever he's been at before, he's been the best quarterback for the team? So you can say that he was given the starting job wherever he went, but was he not the best quarterback wherever he went? I don't know, just something to think about. Um, but yeah, I wanna take that victory lap now for the off the field stuff because it's been it's been what uh about a month and a half since the draft, and there's not been a peep negative from Shador Sanders or the entire Sanders family. So we don't know what he's going to be like on the actual football field when the pads come on. That remains to be seen. We've all seen um we've all seen the highlights. I've shown you the highlights of him in OTAs and minicamp, him throwing dimes, um him doing everything like that. Um so we don't need to get into that, but just to bring it back, all in all, I think it was a positive mini camp, positive OTAs for everybody, um, especially these quarterbacks. All these quarterbacks have shown that they have the ability to not look like they don't belong. They all belong, and for for times last year, it looked like nobody in the Browns quarterback room just belonged in the league, Jameis Winston included. There's times where you look at him and you shake your head and you think, what the hell is this guy doing? Um, but yeah, number 4 doesn't belong in the NFL anymore. DTR doesn't belong. Uh, Jameis Winston sometimes belongs, but that's hit or miss any given day. All these guys, they look like so far it's still early that they belong, and that there should be optimism for this quarterback room going into training camp, going into the fall. So, um, but yeah, that's all I got on the quarterbacks for now. I don't know. I think there might be one more OTA coming up after this. Um, but yeah, what until then, I don't think, like, after that we're just waiting for training camp. So we'll get into it when it gets here. So until then, see you.